Hi, my friends. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant, a show where the characters are made up and the sorting absolutely does matter. My name is Rachel.
And I'm her best friend and co-host, Lauren. Every other week, we're going to invade a fandom and determine whether your favorite character belongs in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin.
We're the Harry Potter podcast that talks way more about any other franchise.
Here, we use the sorting structure from Harry Potter as a common language without supporting the author or her beliefs. As for the sorting itself, there's bound to be some arguments along the way.
But in the end, we're always right.
According to us.
According to us. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Sort of Brilliant. Today is all about the ladies, the most important people in the world. We're not talking about no stinky pew-pew men today. Even though it is a man's franchise, boo, tomato, tomato, it should be a female-led franchise.
Thor is a lesbian champion.
Just kidding.
So,
we love Thor.
I mean,
himbo rights.
if they haven't fridged Jane, it could have been her franchise.
All right.
But we all knew that was coming.
Listen, what's up with that? Because why? Like, does she not want to come back for more movies, Miss Natalie Portman?
No, I'm sure she does. I mean, they could go get her from... Spoilers for Thor Love and Thunder!
Ooh,
if you haven't seen it yet. Why haven't you? What's your problem? The best franchise the MCU has, and you're doing this? You've waited a week?
I'm going to just, say in advance, the graphics for this episode are going to be, very Love and Thundery. So you should, know going in. We're talking about Love and Thunder.
What the aesthetic is.
So anyway.
Yeah. So I think probably, this has happened in the comics, that you can go to Valhalla. So, there's a chance that she could come back if they wanted to, and Idris Elba and all that. I was so happy to see him, by the way. When I saw him, I was like, oh, Rachel's going to be so happy.
So hot. I don't know anything about, Norse mythology. I know, Greek mythology because I'm obsessed with myself and my people.
Mm-hmm.
And, all the gods that we worship on Sunday. So I know we can go to the underworld when we want to get our people back.
Right. You cross the river Styx.
So exactly. Well, oh my God, you know all about us.
Yes, I do. I love Hercules. Anyway, Roy Kent. He's here. All right. He's there. He's every that fucking
came
where.
Up, so that was in the post credits. It was Hercules, whatever. And I was all excited because I'm yeah, my people, you should be happy to be baptized in the Greek church. And Lauren was sending me gifs of him on what I assume is Ted Lasso, and I was just I don't understand any of that.
We are going to be watching. Rachel's going to be forced to watch Ted Lasso soon because we have to sort it. And it's on its last season. It comes out this year. So we'll be doing that next year. And
it just looks so boring.
It's not boring at all. It is not. There is so much drama.
Sports.
You are going to be. No, it's not about it uses the sport as the common factor that all these people have, but it's not a sport show.
Okay. I believe you.
All right. Anyway, there's a lot of drama, and you will be so mad at one character. But I think you will love Roy Kent. He's my favorite character. And
so this is who's playing Hercules?
Yes,
Roy Kent.
His character.
He's a good actor.
Roy Kent. Yes, he's extreme. Yeah, you just have to see. Excited. But when you see him on Ted Lasso, you will get a sense of the type of Hercules he'll be, and it's gonna be great.
I can't. I'm so excited. George thinks he's going to be a dick. I'm not. I don't know.
Oh no, yeah, he will. He's Thor's enemy in the comics. They fight.
He'll turn him.
Then they'll be lovers.
For the Greek people. So Lauren's not going to get this, but for those of you who watch Game of Thrones, did anyone else think that Russell Crowe was King Robert Baratheon? When he came up? Because I turned to my husband. I was like, it's Bobby B. It's King Robert. And then later in the fucking credits, they're Russell Crowe as Zeus. I was like, whoa, okay, that's a look. I did not see Russell Crowe in that at all. But
I didn't think I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion. I don't think he did a very good job.
No, me neither. I didn't like that at all.
Well, I read
Zeus is supposed to be daddy.
I read some reviews that he was an arrogant, full of himself, egotistical Zeus, which I was fair. Okay. That's what Zeus is. But I expected it to be played in a way different way. He wasn't very confident about it. He was
and if he wanted to just be a cocky shit, then be a cocky shit. Don't go down and whisper to Thor just play along.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was not the kind of Zeus that I wanted to see either. It could be just Russell Crowe's interpretation of the character. I don't know.
It's true.
I have no idea. Maybe he went method. A lot of weirdos be doing that. But I'm confident that Hercules is going to be good. I'm very excited about that. Hercules, love me some Hercules. So I'm excited. I don't know anything about how he is in the comics, so Lauren just told me he's going to be an enemy. That's okay. I think we'll solve that.
He's not like a bad guy. He and Thor are just like they fight seas. They do fight seas. Yeah.
Something else I was pretty disappointed in, actually, since we're talking about the film.
Yeah.
Not enough Guardians and Thor. Not enough.
Okay. I figured you might be upset about that.
The Guardians are my favorite in Marvel. Just the Guardians movies are my favorite. Peter Quill is my favorite.
Unfortunately. Like nothing against Peter Quill. I have something against the actor. But
I don't even care. I don't even think about it anymore. I just love Peter Quill. And because I love myself. And we are one and the same. And I was really looking forward to seeing them interact more. Like when they showed him going off with the Guardians, I was like, oh, I'm going to get a whole fucking movie with these two, with my two favorite universes, because Thor is like my second favorite universe in Marvel. I was so excited. And they were just like, get rid of this clingy guy who's in love with Peter. I'm like, no, come back. I wanted more. But what I did get, I was happy with. Just wanted more than that. It was very funny.
I'm happy for you.
Thanks. It was exciting for me for the 5 minutes that it happened.
Yes.
But they made up for it with the goats. I love those fucking goats. They were probably the best part of the movie.
It's so easy to entertain you.
It really is. I think Taika just gets me.
On
on
a personal level.
Certain level, yeah. I'm there to have a good time, and he gives me that. So, but I know the Guardians were like on loan to him. They're not his movies, so I feel like
that's probably why that was a thing.
Yeah, and I was happy it was even included, but it kind of fucking had to be. You had him go off with them.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Russo brothers.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I'm pretty certain that Natalie Portman doesn't want to come back. That's my feeling on it.
Why do you think that?
I have my reasons.
Rachel, she dies in the comics. Like, this is the story. What is your reasoning?
I don't have to share that publicly.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do.
Okay. You didn't hear this from me. You heard this from my brother. In 1999, when he went to prom out in Long Island with his girlfriend at a fancy rich people's school. And he went to her prom because we weren't at no fancy rich people's school, but he went with her. And Natalie Portman was there. And he was sitting in her seat by accident. And she went up to him and she was like, "You're in my seat." And he was like, "Who are you? Sorry?" And she's like, "Like you don't know who I am." So from that moment on, we have beef. It's family beef. I'm not happy with that. I don't know. Maybe she's grown and matured since 1999. I know I have. I was 8 and I, have changed somewhat. But I just feel that she doesn't want to come back for that reason.
What year was this?
99.
Okay, so she hadn't been on Star Wars yet. So she didn't have reason to be like that.
I'm pretty sure she was just like the hot shit of her school.
Okay.
Like she'd been in movies and
I like Natalie Portman.
You're like, does this timeline fit or is Rachel's brother a fucking liar? She's probably gotten way better. She was a teenager. I'm just being a dick for fun. But that was my feeling when I saw that they killed her. I was like, oh shit, she just doesn't want to come back. She's over it. I didn't like it at all. Did you like the plot of her, like where they went with that? I didn't like it.
No, they fridged her. I have to tell you, I saw, so the reason that I don't think Natalie Portman is like this, even though you have beef with her, your family beef.
From the 90s. It's not new beef.
She was very, it's not fresh beef. She was very excited at SDCC when they like announced her and she was like, yeah, I'm the new Thor, which, she knew what was going to happen at that time. But I saw an interview where she said after they finished the movie, she went to Taika and went, "Oh my God, that was so fun. Like, what next? What can we do next?" And he went, "I'm about to do a Star Wars movie. Have you ever wanted to be on Star Wars?" And
I saw that.
Yes, she went, "I have been on Star Wars." And he went, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that one."
I'm gonna just let you know that Taika is an August Leo, and he's also definitely a Gryffindor. So I get him. Okay, I get him. We get each other. I totally would have said that shit to her too. Yo, by the way, I'm doing this really cool Star Wars movie. Natalie Portman, you want to be in it? Totally would have done that shit too. I don't even blame him. She gets fucking murdered in that too. Why are we just out here?
She doesn't get murdered. She does in Childbirth of Sadness. But
after being force choked, Jesus Christ. While pregnant.
Fine. She had the babies. She died of sadness.
But why does she, like, it was, I can't even say they shouldn't have done it that way because it's a thing that happens to people, right? This is horrible illness. We've all had
No. It's bullshit. It's complete sexist bullshit. So people were trying to, because Kenobi just came out and they had that line they put in where, like, they tried to explain their bullshit where these fucking Sith Lords keep coming back from, like, extreme death experiences.
Somehow,
like you
Palpatine
cut Darth
returned.
Maul in half, and like all of a sudden he's showing up in Han Solo with his little spider legs. They were like, what was it? Like revenge or whatever the fuck it was. Like revenge keeps you alive because it like feeds into the hatred, and the hatred is what feeds the dark side.
Yeah, but I'm saying they didn't even explain Palpatine
because he feels like extreme hatred, so he can't be killed.
That's it. That's your fucking
that's
reasoning.
What he like feels him. That's
horrible.
what they said. So then people took that and extrapolated to be like, on the light side, you need like happiness. And she was so sad that she died.
Yeah.
It was Anakin's fault. Can we just
well, that's
all agree on that?
Star Wars. How does this relate to your Thor feeling?
We're just talking about Natalie Portman. I just said that's why I don't think that she didn't want to come back.
Oh, I see.
Because she was like, what are we doing
talking
next?
about, because I was saying, like, I felt uncomfortable saying they shouldn't have done it to her that way.
No, they shouldn't have.
Because it happens to people. Like, it's a real, genuine thing that happens, obviously. So I can't just sit there and...
But the way that they utilized it was a frigine. So...
Right. Now, the problem is you can't have her come in with a very human disease that kills people and then cure it with a magic fucking hammer.
Why not?
So I'm like, why? Because it doesn't happen in real life and it's insensitive to people who have cancer.
It's a comic book character.
I get it, but
she comes back in the comics from cancer anyway.
If I saw that happen, I would have been like, yikes. Did not like.
That's an interesting take.
I don't know. It might be because I have a lot of cancer in my family. I've lost a lot of people to it. So it might just be from coming from that lens. But I would not have liked to have seen that. So I knew
we're all searching for a
good dude. I didn't think he was going to do that. And I mean, this is just my opinion. Like, you could think he's not a bad dude if he did do that. That's fine.
Well, she could have like continued to like live with the cancer, like not been cured, but not be dying.
I figured it was either going to be that or she was going to die. So I was waiting for her death the whole movie because I was just straight up like, you're not going to cure a real disease with a hammer. It's fucked up. I don't know. I thought it would have been fucked up, and they didn't. So that's fine. But I'm like, why introduce it at all? And I guess it's in the comics. Okay, so I have my answer. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why she becomes
horrible
Thor in the comics.
That's really sad.
They did the exact thing.
Well, listen, it's your movie. Do whatever you want with it. You didn't have to do that.
I'm not sure I agree with you because the hammer's based in a religion, and there are tons of stories about religion curing disease. Like the reason that she went to the hammer is
just
because
not in a Marvel movie.
she read a book that was like the hammer provides health.
No, that's
and wellness.
okay. It's just in a massive billion-dollar corporation that Disney owns. I wouldn't have liked to have seen that be the cure for a very real disease that, like, I've lost tons of people to. I would have been like, oh, how nice that you have a magic hammer and, like, everyone I know is dead. Like, it just fucked up. I don't know.
That's an interesting take to me.
Let's ask the people what they think.
All right. I think there have been movies that have done that before. I think it's fucked up that she died.
No, movies have done that before, and I've thought it was fucked up. Listen, everybody has their own little things they're sensitive about. I don't like that. I think it crosses a weird line.
Like, here's the thing. Like, her death was correct in the sense that it was on her terms, right? She said, fuck that. I'm not dying in a bed doing chemo. Like, I'm going to go be the mighty Thor for one last time.
Yeah.
So, like, that was all great. But the message of the story was about love and loss. So she was used as the loss thing for Thor. Like, the love and loss thing for Thor.
You don't like the kid.
She was in that sense the object. So I was upset.
You don't
about
like the kid, huh?
What? What do you mean?
Yeah, I get the vibe you don't like the kid. That you don't like the kid thing. that he ends up with this kid.
Why are you getting that vibe? I'm talking about Jane.
Yeah, I know, because she's the loss, and then through that, love comes.
She was lost and love. She was lost love at the beginning.
I see. I thought you were saying literally love the child.
No, because I was not.
Is that her name? Or is that just what they called her?
No, her name was something else. Gore called her something else, but I don't remember what it was.
Is that really Chris Hemsworth's child?
Yes.
His kid? Because I've seen that it's his daughter, but like just in tweets, so I don't know if it's real.
It is his daughter.
That's very cute.
It is.
When the video game The Last of Us came out, I fucking clocked it. I told my husband in 2013, this is the winning combination. I'm like, you ever want to write a book? You ever want to write something? You need a grumpy old man and you need a little girl he's got to take care of. And it's the winning combo. And now like time Hawkeye, after time after time.
And Kenobi.
Yes. And fucking Wolverine.
Yeah.
And everything. Like every time you introduce this concept, it's winning. It's straight up winning. Good dude, grumpy dad. Oh, Stranger Things does it. They all do it. And it's perfect every time. So
I don't dislike the child. I just, I told Rachel this, so I don't mind saying out loud. It's just the ending felt like, fanfic writers when they're writing a bang and they're like, oh my God, my fic is due tomorrow. And they're like, I have a chapter left to write. And they're like, I'm just going to write like the basics of what I need to throw in here, but it's not going to be great. It's kind of what it felt like. It felt really rushed.
You felt it rushed?
It felt like it was rushed, and it was kind of like they set up that kid in the 2 seconds before he got the kid. Like there wasn't any foreshadowing other than the fact that they were like, he could be a good dad, but they didn't like foreshadow that it could be this kid at all or.
Right. I totally agree. I think that that's a great ending and I'm glad they gave him a kid. I love that. I don't like how they got there with it. It could have been better explained. Also, it made no sense. Like when Gore's dying, he says, I don't want her to come back to be alone. I'm not going to be here. Right. Okay, then give Jane her life.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, so wish for Jane to be alive. Like
and then Jane straight up, this plays into her house so hard.
I was sitting, Rachel, I was sitting there in the theater. Like, this is obviously the solution. So of course it's not what's going to happen. Yeah. Like I was so mad about it.
I know. I could not fucking believe it. But again, I was in there with this brain of, they're not going to cure the human disease with the magical hammer. So she's going to do it. She's going to fucking give up her life for this kid.
Center of the universe eternity thing would have cured her.
It was not explained well enough. Now listen, I'm not ragging.
You didn't get that part.
What part?
That this being at the center of the universe was granting one wish. You didn't get that?
Yeah, of course I did. What do you mean?
Oh, okay. You said it wasn't
No. It wasn't explainable enough that this kid was going to be coming back and was going to be Thor's responsibility and they were going to have this connect. Like, the lead up to it was not satisfying. I don't know. I'm not ragging on the movie, though, because I really enjoyed it.
No, I liked it a lot.
I still think Ragnarok is the best Marvel movie of all time. But you're not topping that. That was the fucking best. So I didn't expect anything to top it, but it was really enjoyable. I had a great time. I think all the actors did amazing. All the characters were extremely their houses. But we're not just talking about Love and Thunder today. We're talking a little bit about Ragnarok too, because we're going to be talking about Hela. So today we've got Valkyrie, Jane, and Hela on the, the menu. We got them on the menu, the sorting menu.
Yes, we do.
So I say we start with Jane because we're already in Jane.
Talking about Jane. You're right. Yeah. So what do you explain yourself? Explain her house. You just explained it to yourself with that one thing that she fucking did.
So Jane is okay. I'm just exposing myself here. Jane is so smart,
so healthy,
so healthy, so well adjusted and confident and also, in my opinion, kind of a goober and a nerd.
Yeah, literally the most unhealthy thing she did was how she left Thor, and even that was unhealtly in a healthy way. Where she was like, bye.
I understood her.
This is for me.
Yeah. So, and also I think she's very nerdy and awkward. So to me, I didn't immediately latch on to a Gryffindor label. Okay. I immediately went the Ravenclaw route because I was like, she's so weird. I'm like, what's her driving force? What's her motivation behind everything? And I kept coming back to Ravenclaw because it just clicked well in my head. because Gryffindor didn't make any sense. I don't have a lot of nerdy, awkward Gryffindors. I don't have a lot of well-adjusted, healthy ones. So it was strange for me to put that label on it. I was like, oh, this has got to be a Ravenclaw or a Hufflepuff, because like these are the houses that I understand the least. Like Slytherins and Gryffindors I get the most, Hufflepuffs, Ravenclaws the least. But I guess George came out of it saying she was a Gryffindor. I talked to Lauren.
Oh, good for him.
Lauren said she was a Gryffindor. And I guess the moment for me that clocked it as Gryffindor would be when she straight up, she didn't even consider being like, okay, so your kid's gone. You're going to die. Can I have the wish granted to like live with the love of my life over here? She's like, no, your child will be taken care of so good.
Also, the fact that she volunteers Thor to child care.
Yeah. And his Hufflepuff ass is like, okay, we'll catch you in Valhalla. Like, what the fuck? They're so they are such two weirdos together. I could not believe they're such awkward weirdos. It's hilarious watching them together. So that alone, because I don't think a Ravenclaw would have done that. Would have been like, yeah, bring the child forth. Let him raise her. It'll be great. It was a very Gryffindor thing to do. So then in thinking about Jane...
I can't get over how weird that, like, Gore's been spending, I don't know how many, like, months or weeks it was in time, but the entire movie trying to murder this man that he does not know. And then it's like, sure, I'll entrust my child to you, who's been peacefully dead for the past.
I think because he was dying, he was going back to his old self, and maybe he saw that Thor was a good dude. I don't know. Some things were just not explained well.
Like, I didn't really get it either because, you know, the god that I don't know the god that he worshipped, but the one at the beginning of the movie that was a huge asshole to him, and that's why he became the God Slayer. That god was like, ooh, you don't go anywhere after you die. Ooh. And I don't know if he was telling the truth, because I was like, oh shit, like that would be a deep thing to explore. Like all these gods have been fucking lying. And then Valhalla was a thing. So what's the truth? But isn't
Valhalla just a thing for dying in battle?
Right. No. It's for dying in battle, and it's also for like Norse or people connected to Norse. But you know, like you know, because you know, like you said, Greek people go to the underworld, and even
no matter what you do, you burn in hell.
Yeah, you good or bad. And like different religions have different ideas of the afterlife. So this one god that he worshipped said, "There's nothing." Even though the religion obviously believed in something. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he was afraid that his daughter was just not anywhere.
Listen, they just wanted it to end up the way it did.
I know. I'm trying
You're
to
looking for logic where there is.
No. Well, they should have explained. They should have explained. Was there really not a place for her to go?
The Gryffindor writer just wanted you to catch the vibe. So, speaking of fucking vibes too, she's straight up like dying, and it's a very if I die, I die. She's like, yeah. I'm gonna do everything I can to not, but also like I'm cool with it. Hold on a second. That book is talking to me. I'm getting a vibe from it. I'm gonna open that shit up and immediately go, and this magical hammer is totally gonna work for me. Like it was that whole thing was very Gryffindor. So I'm tending to agree with this assessment of her.
She wasn't.
She's just
as
very well-rounded, healthy.
Again. She was like, "Yeah, I look hot, and I'm stronger than you."
For that minute,
yeah. And then she was kind of awkward.
Yeah,
but no. She was clearly enjoying flirting with Valkyrie. I don't know what that has to do with being Gryffindor. I just wanted to point it out.
I think everyone would flirt with Valkyrie.
Yeah. No, she like friendship really quickly. She was only in New Asgard for like a couple of weeks probably before Thor showed up.
She's got a bestie immediately.
She's got a bestie immediately, and like the whole town is like into her. So she's obviously been doing things for them. So it's not like she got the hammer and was like, cool, I feel better and I'm hot again, and just like skipped around. Like she was helping these people with it. She jumped right in. Right. She truly took on the mantle. It wasn't just taking on the hammer in a way that helped her feel healthier. She was actually like, oh shit, I have to be a Thor. And she was treating it in a very Gryffindor way, you know, like she wanted to catch the phrase and was like, I have to do this the correct like hero way, like got to be a good hero. No, but even before this movie, I thought she was a Gryffindor. I pointed out in the first movie, first of all, she hits Thor with a car like 3 times. And she is not really like, she's like, sorry, don't report me to the police. But like, otherwise is like, whatever.
I have shit to do. Sorry. I gotta go.
Yeah. She's like, I'm discovering the like, space bridges, whatever. But when S.H.I.E.L.D. comes to get all her shit, because Thor has showed up and she's got all of this evidence or whatever. When S.H.I.E.L.D. comes and takes all her shit and she's like yelling at them, like, I built this equipment myself. Like, you have to give it back to me. This is my property. Like, she's really indignant about it. And they're like, well, we're taking it. And she's like, I'm going to sue you for my constitutional rights or whatever, which just like screams very Gryffindor to me. Like, you go for the like goody law when you have to. You're like, well, the Constitution says, like, try to get these guys.
But they said I have rights.
Yeah. And then that doesn't work because S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't really part of the government. So then she lets the hot Viking crazy man convince her that they should break into this top secret government facility and just take her stuff back. Which I don't know.
He's
the whole
right.
thing screams Gryffindor. Yeah, right. And she goes with him and he's like, stay here. And he goes in on his own. And it's so funny because she's like lying in the grass, like watching all these men with guns and this crazy guy sneak into the facility. And she calls Eric Selvig and she's like, hey, you remember that thing you told me not to do? I'm doing it. So like, if you don't hear from me in an hour, that's what I'm doing. Like,
yeah,
it's just it screamed Gryffindor to me.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. It was I really liked that they explained how they broke up and why and shit in this movie because it needed to be fucking explained.
It did.
It needed to be
like
discussed.
Between Dark World and Ragnarok, like what the hell happened?
Yeah, I just have no idea.
No, it would have been before Ultron, right? Because he left right after Ultron.
Because he's complaining about the breakup in Ultron.
Is he? Okay, I didn't remember that. I just remembered at the end of Ultron, he's like, I've been having weird ass dreams and like fucked off. So
yeah. Well, and he talks about the breakup in Endgame too.
He talks about it in Ragnarok. He doesn't talk about
it. He's very hurt by this.
Those two girls come up and take a selfie and they're like, sorry to hear Jane broke up with you. And he's like, and I was so happy. It was mutual. It was a mutual dumping. But she didn't break up with me. I broke up with her. It was mutual dumping.
Oh, so funny.
Which it turned out to be, right? Kind of.
Yeah. It kind of did. They both like
pushing each other away. Yeah.
What a like a Gryffindor thing to do in the way that she did it too, where she was just like, I'm not going to look at this for too long. I'm simply going to close my eyes and hope it gets better. Like, that's probably the one unhealthy Gryffindor trait she might have. Because everything else, I think she's pretty well adjusted. Like, the loss of this dude does not ruin her life. She continues with her research, with her everything.
Well, I could say, too, that there might be an argument that the way that she treats her cancer is not as well adjusted because she's, like, refusing to think about it, right? But I also think that's very Gryffindor and very, like, I wouldn't say it's unhealthy, but it's like very Gryffindor in the way that it's healthy, unhealthy. It's a paradox. It's very Gryffindor in the way that it's healthy, unhealthy, where she's like, I just simply won't die. Like, I will find a way not to die. Yeah, she's like, I'm going to find a cure. I am smart. I use science. And when science doesn't work, she's like, well, then I'll use magic. Like, and they say in the movie, magic is just science that we don't understand. So
it's a good point. For that universe, it's a good point. I mean, I totally get why she... This is the thing. Like, it's hard for me to recognize these traits in someone who's making sense. It's much more easy for me to look at some, like, dramatic loon who's just screaming about things and has no handle on their emotions. She has a pretty, like, okay handle on how she feels about stuff. And she's straight up okay with dying, which is... you know what? A lot of Gryffindors are. Like, we're just like... If I gotta go now, I gotta go. Just make it cool. I'm trying to go out in a cool way.
Right.
And I think that also played into it too, where she's like, not that she did it to be cool, but she didn't want to sit in that bed and rot. No. So yeah, she could have, but she gets this feel, like she got a feeling, right? It was,
I got a feeling.
While she was in the bed, she got like I don't even know how to explain it. They flash to her in the bed when Thor's getting his ass beat. Like, she can feel that something's happening to him, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she's just... Gryffindor's not going to just allow that to happen. So it's at her own expense, but it's also she's going out on her own terms, which is extremely her house. If I could choose to go out defending, the people I love at my own expense, I don't care. It's going to look cool, and people will talk about it at my funeral. Cool. So
before you're sent down to the underworld.
That's right. Just float in that river. One day Hercules will come for me though, because yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what people say though about this one, because I don't think she's an obvious Gryffindor. I think like to you or me or a person who looks at it through our lens, sure, maybe, right. But I don't think for other people are going to be like, really?
I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting because what did you say, Ravenclaw or Gryffindor when you gave me your two? So I said, no, you didn't. You said
no,
Hufflepuff,
Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff.
Yeah, you said Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff.
Because
and I said Gryffindor or Ravenclaw. I
thought it was two weirdos together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what made you think Ravenclaw? Because that's the only commonality we have.
That's the only other. She's not a Hufflepuff and she's not a Slytherin. So yeah, I was kind of trying. I was trying to parse out like the stuff I was seeing. Could it be attributed to a Ravenclaw who is acting in that specific way? But she doesn't. Her motivation. Her motivation. She's kind of like a Hermione motivation, where she's like the best way to do things correctly is to know how to do them, and she sees that through like a lens of science or whatever. Like with her curing cancer, that's how she sees. And then when she gets the hammer, she like adjusts, and they're too minute and too quick to be Ravenclaw adjustments. You know, she's not adjusting her way of looking at the world. She's just adjusting like the morally correct way to do things.
Yeah, and she is constantly doing that quickly. Also, little thing, when she's doing chemo with that kid and she rips out the page in his book and she's like, hey, cool, I wrote that. Here's how that works and whatever. And he's book. Like, that's my fucking book. And she's like, whatever, you little loser. You know how cool it is to have the person? Like, no, but you can see it.
She's just now you understand science and that's more valuable.
Like, wouldn't that be better for you? Like, I don't understand why you would be
complaining. I'm sorry. And
then she doesn't even give it another thought.
Yeah, no. Thor: The Dark World is the worst Thor movie, unfortunately. But I'm actually just remembering now. So this is Thor has left, and he said he would come back, and he hadn't come back yet, but he had been in New York fighting the aliens, and she saw him fighting in New York, and he didn't come back and see her after he fought in New York, after he dealt with Loki. So she's going on a date with this other guy, and Thor's being all like, who's this guy? Like, what do you, like, you know, like, and she's being like Gryffindor petty about it. Like, you can tell she's much more into Thor than this like random man that she's having a date with. But she's being like, you know, like, you didn't fucking come back. And like, why do you care what I do? I can do what I want. Like, you know, like that's her attitude about it. But her attitude is also immediately, and Rachel has told me this so many times, so I have to believe it, that Gryffindors are their most forgiving house. She's like, I saw you in New York and you didn't even give me a phone call. And then she's like, whatever, you're hot. Like, let's go.
Yeah. She's mad at him about stuff in this movie too. And she's like, whatever, let's fight together. Also, I don't care that your robes came off. I love your dick and hot body. So everyone should look at it. Like, also very Gryffindor. Like, appreciate my hot man. That's fine. She definitely exhibits it's mostly Gryffindor traits. I gotta go with it. It's interesting that George immediately clocked it. I was really struggling.
I'm proud of George.
Yeah, good for him. He clocked it because he was like, she's completely unreasonable and I wouldn't do any of these things. So I'm like, okay.
But not a Hufflepuff.
Thanks. No, he like enjoys Thor movies and he'll watch Thor and he'll laugh at Thor, but he gets angry at Thor. He's like, everything you do,
I know,
you're stomping around, fucking ruining everything. And it's so annoying. He can't wrap his head around it. But I don't imagine Stephen Strange would like Thor very much either. Hawkeye probably is fine with him.
We've seen Stephen with Thor.
Yeah, but not well enough for me to remember anything.
He acts the way that you'd expect. You don't remember at the beginning of Ragnarok when you don't remember it at all when Stephen takes Loki and then he's like, I protect the realm from beings of like, and you know, and Thor's like, you could have sent an electronic email. Stephen's so over. It's actually really funny. I don't know that Stephen would like Thor. I think Thor would enjoy antagonizing him, and I really enjoy them together.
I think so many characters would just enjoy antagonizing Stephen Strange, and I would love to see them all do it. So yeah, we got another one for the Gryffindor books, which is a great addition. I'm happy about it. Sometimes I'm not happy about people getting added to my house. I'll take this one. She was great.
Woohoo!
Very unfortunate ending. Hoping they do something about that. Probably won't though. Let's talk about Valkyrie because her and Valkyrie are besties. which makes a total sense now because I know Valkyrie's house, so it makes sense to me. Lauren didn't have any strong feelings.
I really did. Both of the for Hela's the last woman we're sorting because there wasn't anybody else really who deserved it.
No, you made some good points for Hela when we were talking.
No, I did. I was just saying Hela's the only one that was like extremely obvious to me. It took me a while with Jane, and then Valkyrie. Once you told me what you thought, it clicked into place. But I really was not. I was just like chilling with her.
I can't see her I couldn't see her as anything else.
I mean, if it would be the other house on that side, not an emotional house, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I immediately, especially after seeing this movie and after Gore was antagonizing her about her fallen girlfriend, all of her fallen people, I immediately was like, okay, this is a fucking traumatized Slytherin. Like this she's lost everything.
Can I just cut in real quick about the one other thing that really bothered me about this movie?
Yeah.
So Thor's like lost all these people, right? He's like in agony about it. When Valkyrie was stabbed, or like when Gore was like sucking them into the darkness, like he sucked Jane and Valkyrie away, and I was like, oh, they're like dead somewhere. Thor like was not really reacting, and I was like, that's kind of weird, man. Like I feel like you should have a very time on it. Yeah, I think you should have a very large emotional reaction, especially when Valkyrie got stabbed. I was like, oh shit, they killed her. Like I believed it.
I rationalized it as he knew she wasn't. Well, like he wasn't worried about it.
Okay, but then Korg crumbled into dust and he fucking screamed his fucking head off. So I was
because I think Korg's weaker and more pathetic, and he thinks that Valkyrie can handle herself. I that's how I rationalized it. Otherwise, I was gonna be really mad at him. So I had to. I was pretty
pissed about it. I was like,
had to rationalize it
because if he hadn't screamed about Korg, if he had acted the same towards everybody, I'd be like, oh, he's dead inside. But he didn't. So I was like,
yeah, they wanted another like comedic shot. Like they were going for laughs the whole time. So even like when he was upset about Korg, they were trying to make his upset funny. Let's not do that at
the expense of the relationships here, guys. Like,
I agree. I mean, I think it's pretty. I do think it's pretty well established how much he loves her, and I think I really did immediately say to myself like, oh, it's because he knows she's gonna be fine because she can handle herself. No, like. I don't know that she would have worried about him so much either. Like she just straight up says to him, like, go and don't die, you know? So that might just be the kind of relationship that they have. So I made myself okay with it. I didn't like it at first either. Didn't love it at first.
Anyway,
but
sorry,
no, you're fine. We can complain as much as we want.
Our show, baby.
She, at first, when I first watched Ragnarok, I was like, oh shit. Is this a Gryffindor who's really angry and really, really does not want the responsibility of having to go back and defend her people? Like is it, because Gryffindors will do that when they get pissed off. Well, they just like leave me the fuck alone. They get curmudgeon-y and grumpy.
I can already refute
that. No, as I was watching it didn't.
Because for her, it was never, especially the more you watch it, but even in Ragnarok, I figured this out. Like she didn't give a shit. Like she talks, she's like, I'm not going to fight another one of Odin's stupid wars about his stupid family. She was never doing it.
Yeah, she was just over it.
Yeah, but she was never doing it to like protect the people of Asgard.
Exactly.
She was doing it because she was part of a sisterhood of a bunch of hot women.
Right. And so that
was the thing that they did. They fought.
That was her circle.
Yeah.
That the other Valkyries were her circle. That was it. So when you've got a Slytherin who loses their circle, I mean, I think this might be, is this the first Slytherin we have that lost? Everyone? So I think so. And I think you can see what that will do to them.
Yeah. We've had some that never had, like Sylvie never had anybody to begin with.
Doctor Who.
Oh, that's right.
He was a dick too.
No, he was exactly like her. They would hang out. Yeah. They would hang out. Yeah.
So they'd be best friends. Yeah.
I mean, you have the ones that never had anybody to begin with, like Sylvie.
Sure.
So, yeah.
But I mean, you have it. And then it's fucking gone. And then it's the feeling of like, I'm so useless. Like I couldn't protect them. I couldn't save them. So you can see how she just, what's the point? A Slytherin's whole thing, their circle is their everything. And to get rid of that completely and in such a traumatizing way, like a horrendous way, would leave lasting effects on you that would probably make you a fucking alcoholic.
Yes.
Chilling on a planet, trying to make money and just like, that's it. Drown yourself in things that feel good temporarily.
She's the Grandmaster's favorite. Like, immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I know how to keep my bread buttered.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of her in Ragnarok now. Like, just points to make from Ragnarok, not so much this one, because this is the one that's freshest in my head.
She's just like she get like, Thor thinks he's there to save her, and she's like, I literally don't give a shit, and like she's the Grandmaster's favorite. She's got that little antagonizing thing going on with the Grandmaster's like security guard or whatever, where she's a bitch, and Grandmaster was like, that doesn't even start with the letter I was using. Like, why would you? I'm so sorry she called you that. I fucking love that movie. I love Jeff Goldblum.
It's also like the inability to be manipulated, because and it's not that like Slytherins are not able to be manipulated. It's that like when they're that disconnected, they really are not hearing a word you say. They do not give a flying fuck what you were saying, what you were doing. She's completely removed herself from emotion.
Yeah.
She does not give a shit.
She's super fluid. She's just kind of going along with anything. When Thor is like, come be on the Revengers with me and Hulk, and she's like, that sounds freaking stupid. I'm not doing that. Yeah. But then she turns up later and it's Bruce Banner, and she keeps going like, I feel like I know you, and like Thor's not explaining anything, and she obviously has this inkling, but like it's fine to just go along with them and like, you know, like whatever. When she and Loki go to the Grandmaster and they're like, well, we'll find Thor and the Hulk, and Loki's like, I can have him for you in 24 hours. And she's like, just give me 2. Like, yeah, that's very Slytherin, like the undercut.
It was very Slytherin. That's Ragnarok. In this one, you see it.
She like has the whole plan for how to get the ship and how to get off the planet.
Yeah. And then the way that she is king, like you can see that, okay, she's definitely bored with certain aspects of it.
Well, first of all, the fact that Thor was like, you should be king.
Right.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah. It's Hufflepuff Slytherin besties. Love to see it. But immediately when you were like, oh, I think Jane's a Gryffindor, I was like, that's why her and Valkyrie were so close to me. Like it made no sense. Like it made very little sense in the time that they had together for them to be that close. But it's just like they immediately connected.
Magnets.
They'd be great as girlfriends. If Thor was just like out of the picture, they probably would have just ruled together.
That part where,
and they just got each other.
That part when they're on Omnipotence and
Omnipotence,
and Thor's like, you know, worried about Jane and the cancer or whatever, and he's talking to Valkyrie, and she's like, we're both on the same team, and then she's like, Team Jane, and gives him a smile. I was like, oh, there's some implication here.
Well, I also like that it's got the double meaning, right? Where she's like, Jane's hot, and also like,
yes, that's
you like
what
her,
I
you
meant by
idiot.
implication.
I love it. Yeah, I'm explaining what the implication is for people who don't get what you're saying. I really like how she was in this moment. I like that they talked more about her loss of the Valkyries in this one.
Yes,
and that they got to because you really, first of all, the scene in Ragnarok where you see Hela descend,
gorgeous,
with the animation that they used is probably the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen in a movie in my life. As far as animation goes, I was sitting in the theater like,
it's really even now, pretty.
Unreal. But that's all you got of her past. Like that was it, and it was massive. But it was like I wanted them to talk more about.
So
her.
I'll interject here to say that. So there was more in that movie about Valkyrie being canonically bisexual. Like they actually were like, this is her girlfriend that died. But then they took that scene out. So all it was is that this Valkyrie like stepped in front of her and got stabbed instead of her. So for this movie, they were like, I think it was, I think he said, we're going to show it more. And he did make it explicit. Like Korg said, you know, your girlfriend died and that's why you're sad and bitter. And she's like, yeah, pretty much. And she does that little thing where she flirts with the Zeus's Greek lady or whatever, his lady in waiting. She kisses her hand. Yeah. But there was a lot more promised, and I really wonder if it got cut again or like what happened there. Like it was a little disappointing. I'm glad that they got it in there. I'm glad he was able to get it in there that like, hey, she had a girlfriend. Like she's queer, but still kind of upsetting that there wasn't more.
Yeah. I mean, it was fairly, they made it pretty fucking obvious, but they made it more clear, obvious by actually giving her a part.
You're right,
they could have given her someone.
And that they could have focused on it more too, because like I said, this entire movie, the message is love and lost, and they tried to focus on that for each character. Like Thor's, they didn't give it enough to her, and Valkyrie's is her sisterhood, and more specifically her girlfriend, and then Jane's is like her life and health or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah. She deserves probably her own standalone movie.
She does. Give us the Valkyrie movie. Tessa Thompson's fucking amazing. And I don't want to hear about the indie movie that you probably saw her in, because I saw her in Veronica Mars before anybody knew who she was, and I don't want to hear that shit.
Jesus. She's very, very talented and very, very hot. And the knife licking scene will show up on our pages because my God, she was. I don't know what it was, because I got to tell you,
her hair was so good. I love
Ragnarok.
Her hair.
Is like the sexiest movie. Hair. Like I think everyone is so hot in Ragnarok. But in this one,
Thor
it's
has
like
his hottest look.
Valkyrie is the hottest in this movie. Like that surpasses even Naked Thor. I don't know.
Okay, but like, I want to talk about the battle scene between Thor and Hulk, because that's the hottest that Thor has ever looked. I'm sorry to say.
It was good.
With the red paints and the helmet and the
and that haircut and the scar.
The hair was so good. I know, like, it's like, Thor has long hair, but I really think that we could have had that haircut for longer.
I liked their outfits way more in this movie than in Ragnarok.
Okay.
I liked what Valkyrie was wearing more.
Were you excited? Because I definitely right away clocked this, that Thor was being influenced by Star-Lord.
Yes.
Like he was.
Yes. It was so wonderful to see.
Clothes.
I loved that. I fucking loved that. Well, because Thor has a giant crush on him. So, he's like so. I can't even. I'm going to get into Hufflepuff Thor, and I can't, because this is not his episode. Mm. But he's very influenced by the people that he loves.
I mean, we haven't talked about him for a while, so you can talk about him a little bit.
He's so fucking unhinged. He's such an unhinged. It's so
he really is
ridiculous how much
he really is.
Who else has beef with their weapon? Like the way he's talking.
Okay, but that's queer. That's because he's queer.
I'm going to give you half that, and I'm going to the other half Hufflepuff.
Okay.
Because it was so Hufflepuff the way that he was doing it. It was like, he knows it's wrong. Like, he knows it's going to piss off Stormbreaker if he does it, but he's just like, but I got to see if I can get my hammer back. Like, I just want to go talk to it. I just want to see, like, what's the hammer doing over there? How's it been? Like, I can't. I saw somebody complaining that the bits, like all the ongoing bits of the movie went on too long. Bit. And I was like, that's all. I was waiting for it every single time.
And it fed into the plot too.
Yeah,
like Stormbreaker was fucked up. No, when he picked up the hammer from the table and then was like, just check in and put it back down, I was like, oh, that was awful. Yeah. So just want to make sure I'm still worthy.
Well, maybe we should do an episode where we sort the
Hannah asked for that, and then she also said, when is the fucking Star Wars droid episode? And I said, I'm getting Rachel to appreciate Star Wars.
We'll do a month of like
inanimate objects.
Unalive things. Unalive things. Okay. All right. But Valkyrie, I think that her house is clearest through her trauma, which is so easy for me to decipher, because it's the best way for me to decipher a character. It's really fucking trauma. Fuck them up good. Fuck them up real good.
Don't fix them.
And she, no, don't fix them. But she, even in this movie, she's not fixed. Like, she's not better. Yes, she has a friendship with Jane. Yeah, no, fine. She has a friendship with Thor. But she's not, like, made whole by this. She needs to be back with her sisters. She needs to be back with her girlfriend for her to be made whole again. I really do believe that. And I think that's a huge testament to her house. Like, I think a Slytherin who loses everything could find other meanings. Like, they could find other things in life to do and be really good at them, like ruling and fighting. And she finds things that she enjoys, but she's never going to be really fulfilled and happy until she gets back to them. And they should have given, you know what? They should have had them all just go to Valhalla. Just fucking let them all go and rest and be happy.
All of you die.
If it means your joy. If it means you get joy in the end. I really do want to see her.
She should just date Lady Sif. Why not?
Which one is that? That's Thor's friend?
Mm-hmm. The one who was gone for like 5 movies and then randomly showed up again.
Yeah, but again, like, she could date people, and I think that I think she could have a happy life, but I don't think it's going to be the same as, like, you see that she's kind of just going with the motions a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurt me to watch. I felt really fucking bad. I was like, she's good at everything. Great. But she's not really happy. And it's just, she lost her circle. That's really sad. That's really sad to see.
It's sad.
It made me sad for 9 too. That is the only other time where I was just like, wow, I've never seen this before. This is really fucked up. But they're not screaming and crying about it. She's not making it her whole personality. Like a Gryffindor will make that their whole life and base it around it, and then they'll become wannabe hero over it. Like, she's just straight up, it happened. Because bad things happen. Because why wouldn't they? Anyway, off to fight the next battle. Like, and she just does it, and she doesn't complain about it. And it's very Slytherin the way she does that. Because she's not talking about her feelings. She's not talking about her loss. She's not talking about anything. It's all inside. So, Slytherin. Now that's that on that.
That's that on that.
So we've got a Gryffindor and Slytherin bestie, which was great. Give me the YouTube compilation of just Lady Thor and Valkyrie moments for 10 minutes. Like, that's very enjoyable. And then we've got Hela. Now,
Hela's a Slytherin. I'm not even going to lead up to this.
Let me explain something to you.
Okay, you explain it.
Hela
you explain your Regina Lovin-ass.
The greatest character that's ever been created in a Marvel movie. And do you want to know why? It's because she's so hot. And it's not even close. It's not even close with any other character in these movies that have ever been in a Marvel. It's not even fucking close. So what I need Taika to do for me, or just someone to do for me, is to bring her back and just make an entire movie about her.
Okay.
So that I can play it while I'm falling asleep at night and never look at anything else in my life. I have never wanted a character to spit on me, to beat the fuck out of me so bad. Like, it was at a point, it was so bad at a point where I was just like, let her win. Let her win because she deserves to for being who she is fundamentally as a person. So, that being said, you just said Slytherin?
Yes.
When we were talking, you said Hufflepuff.
You're right, I did.
So now I need to know why you switched gears, because I was fully prepared to do the Regina Hufflepuff thing.
You're right.
Because that I vibed with.
No.
Slytherin one, I don't know.
No. You're right. I said Slytherin without even thinking.
It's because she's got green.
Green, yeah.
Because she's sexy. That's why. That's why I learned it.
No. You're right. And I apologize to everybody because we also didn't really prepare for this episode. Rachel was just like, so are we doing Hela too? And I was like, yeah, sure. And we had talked to her about her a little bit. And I did say Hufflepuff.
She's like, let's do Hela. I'm like, mommy, let's do mommy. Let's do it. Oh my God.
No, she is.
You know what?
And you heard me say her Regina Lovin-ass, and that is what I meant.
That's why I was like, hold on a sec.
She is. I wrote, because Rachel was like, I don't even remember what her problem was. I just remember how hot she was. And I was like, she literally. So Odin's kids are all god of something, right? Like Thor's god of thunder, Loki's god of mischief. So they're like created for these things, except Loki. He's like a fresh giant.
Yeah, I was going to say, except Loki was adopted. Yep.
Yeah, they just assigned him the closest thing that they could.
They did.
But so Hela was Odin's first kid, and she's the goddess of death. Like, that's so hot. That is a good goddess that you need right at the beginning. Like, people got to die, right? Overpopulation's a problem. So,
she'd kill me.
So I was like, this was her issue. She's the god of death. So Odin made her to kill people. So she did battles with him and made him king of the world based on like all this slaughter. Like she explains, he asked her to do all this. This is why she was created. She did what she was told. Yes, she was given a role and she did it. He wanted to be king of the 9 realms, and they made that happen.
So it's not her fault.
Death and war. And and then she was like, okay, like, so we'll keep doing this. And Odin was like, now that I'm king of the world, it's time for a new me. I want to be Rainbow King, and you're goth. So into the underworld you go.
God, what a prick. She did everything he asked. Okay. And she did it fucking well. So I don't know, like, was that the reason in Ragnarok? He just straight up said, I'm done with you, so be banished. Like, I don't remember.
Remember, this is told from Hela's point of view, because Odin doesn't actually explain.
The right point of view?
Odin doesn't actually explain. He's just like, I've been holding your sister back, but now that I'm dying, she's coming. So see you, suckers. But,
what a twat. Yeah.
And fucking Hufflepuff Thor was like, I love my daddy.
And I love my new sister too.
He was so ready. He was so ready to love her.
More people for my community. Let's go. We're gonna love this so much.
But Hela was like, no, I've been burned enough. So yeah, she shows up and she's like, and they're like, I'm Thor, son of Odin. She's like, you don't look like him. And Loki's like, let's come to some court agreement. She's like, you sound like him. Like, she's like, I don't need family. But no, she's the one who explains, and she's explaining to, I forget the name of Carl Urban's character now. It's like Slaughter. I don't know. It's something stupid. Research team, look that up. Yeah, but she's explaining to him because they finally get into the grand hall or whatever, and there's that mural of like Odin with the rainbow and being all like benevolent. And she like throws the knives up there, and she's like, Odin. What does she say? She's like proud of what he's done, like ashamed of how he got it, like something like that.
Right.
So instead of painting over the ceiling, they put an entire new ceiling over it for some reason that she could later tear down. But so like under it was like the mural of like the death and destruction, and her standing by his side, and she's like basically explaining that she did all this for him, and it came to the point where she was like, you know, she's the goddess of death, so she's gonna keep killing and keep like war going, and Odin's like, I don't want to do that anymore. So yeah, he sent the Valkyrie after her because she basically she got out of control. He didn't want her doing what he made her to do anymore.
Okay, so whose fault is that? Odin's fault. You don't bring her in and create her for this purpose, then be like, actually, guess what? You don't have a purpose anymore. She should have rained hellfire down. Like, it's wrong. He doesn't know how to be. First of all, he's a terrible father. He doesn't know how to be a dad to any of those kids. So it's not surprising to me that he ended up with such a mixed fucking bag over here.
I can't.
Because he did.
This is it's nothing to do with Hela, but it's something to do with Odin. I wonder what house Odin's in. In the first fucking movie, when he's telling Loki, like Loki's found out that he's adopted, and he's like explaining to him why he never told him he's adopted. Loki's face is just like, this is the most bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is. It totally is. His mom, at least, explains it a little better and is compassionate and feels bad about it, right?
Right.
Odin's just like, I couldn't tell you were a blue monster.
Right. It's unbelievable. So it's interesting because the last time when we talked about Mythic Quest, we had two Hufflepuffs that were like completely different. And it's the same here. Like Thor and Hela are completely different, but very clearly from their houses in obvious ways on both ends of the spectrum. So she's just she's the darker side of a Hufflepuff.
Literally, their like penultimate fight or whatever is so Hufflepuff when she's like, what were you the god of again? And he's like, thunder.
They're ridiculous. They actually are so ridiculous. He's like, you can't defeat me. Yeah, I know, but he can.
No, that's so Hufflepuff too, that she instead of continuing to fight them, went after the big fucking monster that's tearing down Asgard.
Yeah, it was very Hufflepuff. So hold on, I lost my thought. I'm really mad about it. Oh well, something. She's hot. Yeah, when Lauren was like, "Oh, this is like a Regina thing," I'm like, "Okay, but you guys have to understand something. They're not wrong. They're not wrong. Like, so once you get on board with that." Because you cannot push people to these limits. You can't push people there and then be so surprised when they come back traumatized and fucked up. And you know what? I don't know that Hela's traumatized either.
No, I don't think she's
I just think that she straight up was like, that's an injustice. Right. Unacceptable.
Right.
And so that's what a Hufflepuff will do when they meet an injustice that they feel that they can rectify. They will bring justice. This is how she wants to bring justice. She's not going to be convinced otherwise. She's not going to listen to another train of thought. It's pointless because she sees the problem the way that Hufflepuffs see a problem, and it's time to fix it in whatever matter she decides that she's going to fix it. And I don't blame her. Do I wish that she could have been talked down so that they all could have been a happy family together? Yes. Do I wish she could appear in other movies? For me personally,
would she be as hot if she wasn't evil?
You say evil.
Uh-huh.
I say misguided, dad's
I mean,
fault.
she shows up and like immediately kills Thor's 2 remaining friends, like without letting them speak.
Who?
The Warriors 3, like 2 of them are just hanging out in that in the bridge room, and she shows up through it and is like dead.
Well, they were gonna fight her.
Well, they stand up and go, "Who are you?" And she throws a knife at them.
She answered them. I don't know. She's
like
deaf.
Wanda,
dude, she's being very reasonable. Don't fucking star me about Wanda. Wanda was being reasonable. People don't understand. You know what? This is just women exerting their power, and people are afraid of it, and that's not our problem. It's not our problem. So you are going to get mad at a character for doing what she was created to do. She's death. So she's there that's it. Everything will die. That's it. Maybe if they had more time with her, maybe if she got Thor in a room with her. No, never mind. Maybe if you got Loki in a room with her for a while, they could have come to, because Thor would never. I'm just trying to think of that conversation. Like
she would kill him immediately.
Yeah.
If he was in there being himself.
Loki probably could have talked her down.
He's pretty mad at me right now.
But it's so funny because Loki he would probably go to her side if they put them in a room together for a while.
Yeah.
He'd be like, I fucking see your point, actually. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Here's the problem with Loki, though. Loki's problem is always going to be Thor, because she'd get on his side. He'd immediately be like, "You're right, Odin was a fucking dick. Like, why are we listening to him?" But then he'd be like, "But I love Thor," And Thor's an idiot, and he'll never be mad at Dad. So
terrible. I would love to read fic about this family if Hela's involved. That'd be great. But okay, so you have to look at it from a framework of that. It's a Hufflepuff that had a job to do, that sees an injustice that's being personally committed, an atrocity that is being committed against everything, against the laws of fucking nature, because this is what we're talking about here when we're talking about gods. These are the laws of nature.
Yeah, she's like, I fucking did this, and I've been trapped in this weird fucking underworld for like centuries. What the fuck is that?
Now, I'm just going to ask in your opinion, what makes her not a Slytherin? What would you say to someone who says, well, she's obviously a Slytherin because like Loki does shit like this too, just tries to burn everything down.
She doesn't have any people. We've already pointed that out. I don't know. I guess if we're saying that she's a Hufflepuff, like what is her community?
I don't think that they necessarily, like she...
It's like, who is she doing this
her
for?
Army. It's her army. It's herself.
I was going to say, well, it's like, I think that's...
It was for Odin.
Because for like Sam Wilson, when we talked about his community, it was like it wasn't, like he did have his family that he likes. He loves Bucky and his family. But we also talked about like a general community, like a general his people.
Yeah.
And
but we are talking about a character who loves nothing.
Right. But I'm saying I feel like Hela, her community would be like a general her people. Like, like her thing is that, people die. So like that's her thing. Like that's her community. Like,
yeah. No, it is. It's a weird one because she is dead.
Also, she loves that wolf.
She did. But she also loves her little weird death army. She does. And she loved her father. And again, it's like there's a lot of fucking betrayal in these movies, man. These gods are wild.
Mm-hmm.
They're just wild. And this is all Odin's fault at the end of the day. So I'm not blaming his kids. You're not going to get me to. She did nothing wrong. Anyway, so that's what we got. We don't have any Ravenclaws on the docket today. Nobody.
No, unfortunately.
Nobody quite had the that level of unhinged in these movies. I just thought of someone who did, but I'm not going to talk about it now because we might sort them later. I just thought of someone who did have that level of unhinged, but I can't
in
talk
this
about
movie
it now in case just in the Thor universe.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I vowed not to talk about it, so we're not going to talk about it.
Well, not publicly, but
no.
What?
I'll talk to you about it later.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And just in case it does come up and you want to do an episode with these people like 10 years into the future where I'm like, fine. Go ahead. We've ran out of everything else to talk about.
There's no new media.
No, nothing. Wow, it just occurred to me that new things are going to come out for us to sort.
Yeah.
I'm constantly going back in my head about the things that I like, that
right.
I want to go back and sort. You guys I'm going to have to put a poll up soon for everyone to vote on what they want to see later. And I'm going to put Stranger Things up there and you're going to have to bully Lauren into doing Stranger Things because I've already sorted the entire show and I won't
be. She won't stop talking to me about it.
I will not be fucking budging on any of it. So, I don't know why you won't watch it. I don't know. I don't get it. But
because it's not my thing. Like, I don't know.
Fun is not.
She tried to explain to me what it's about, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I understand what she's saying to me, but I don't understand why people enjoy watching it.
Because it's a story about a bunch of kids solving a fucking mystery and fantasy
but that's never been my
realism
thing.
And well, you like supernatural, so
those are not a bunch of kids, like Goonie style, running around.
What's your fucking problem with Goonies? I don't get you.
I liked it, but I wasn't
You're
like
a 90s
in
kid.
love
What
with
is
it.
this?
I didn't need to see it. Okay, you have to remember, you're a middle child, so you had an older brother that like brought the 90s to you as well. I was the oldest kid, so the majority of my like media was actually what my brothers were watching.
Uh-huh.
So it wasn't 90s. It was like early
you had Disney Channel. You liked watching those kids run around doing shit. So
yes, as a child, I enjoyed watching other children that I could relate to at the time.
Oh my God. I can't have this conversation.
I don't know, man. I don't like Jumanji. Like, I don't like
weird. I don't get
Zathura.
It's the best. It's the best when you put the kids in
Jumanji's
and they solve
terrifying,
it.
So
yeah, the first one is.
You know what I was wondering in the shower the other day based on this conversation I had with you? Why the fuck has nobody made a TV series based off the Magic Tree House yet?
Yeah, that is weird.
How?
That is weird.
I
can personally vouch it's still in every classroom and kids are still reading it every day.
It's incredible. And it's also already structured like a TV series because they do those series of books based on like the one thing that they're trying to get from the house. It's like sequential.
It would be like Doctor Who because it's a different universe every time.
Right.
Like, so it's a different planet every time.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They could very easily do that with CGI and with everything.
Yeah, it's not even different planets, it's just time periods.
I wonder why.
Maybe they've done hasn't given the rights. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know why she wouldn't. Like, Netflix would eat that shit up.
Where's my Sweet Valley High series and shit? I liked those books
Although they fucking fucked the Babysitter Club, so it was a really good show, and they just canceled it.
Yeah,
so.
You know what? Don't touch anything. Just leave it alone. Yeah, you're gonna fuck it up. But we've gone far off the path of Thor.
We have.
So, I'm so proud of us for not talking about Thor as much as I thought we were going to talk about Thor today. I thought it was going to descend into a Thor conversation.
This is about like we wouldn't shut up about Wanda.
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness. I think it was because there was so much that was new to her being a Gryffindor. There's not a lot new here about Thor. Like he's a Hufflepuff in the same way. He just
so is who he is.
Yeah. He's just that's what we said in the episode we talked about him, right? Like he just so is.
He just so is. It's true. That is the best way to put it. Like he's so aggressively himself.
Uh-huh.
What are you gonna say? Look at Thor being Thor. Like it's a lot.
In this episode, he's sad about death and fighting with his weapons. Like,
was Hela on his tattoo? No, right?
No,
I bet she wasn't.
I don't think so.
But it would be so fucking sincerely funny.
It was an I Miss Loki tattoo, but I don't know what the little tattoos around it were.
No. He had a list of names.
Oh,
there's names on his back, and
there's a clear view of it.
All
of Thor's back tattoos explained in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, it's got Loki. It has Natasha on it.
A broken heart. Does it really?
Yeah, on the list.
Oh, okay. That even makes him more Hufflepuff.
I know. It's got Heimdall. It's got Natasha. I think it has Tony. Yeah, I was just wondering. It would be. I think it's like mother, father. Someone got them all. I can't.
I know this is supposed to be like a huge gag, but it's incredibly Hufflepuff.
That whole back thing. It's unfucking believable. I'm sorry. I'm looking up. I'm looking up the list because I'm trying to figure it out. Okay. Mother, father, Heimdall, Loki, Tony, Natasha. What a sweetie.
There's a tramp stamp banner that says "Rest in Mischief."
Yeah. Yep. Heartbreak. There's a fucking grave. He's so ridiculous. They're not not even good tattoos.
He got one of these while he was drunk, and then was like, just do the rest of them.
Do you know what else would look good there? You put his helmet. Just put his helmet. I can't. This is what fans of Supernatural who watch for Sam and Dean think that Sam and Dean would do for each other, but they wouldn't because neither of them are Hufflepuff. So you're out of your fucking mind. Anyway, way to bring it back to Supernatural. You know I had to do it.
Mm-hmm. At least once.
Really proud of myself for fitting it in there.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to another amazing, brilliant episode.
Yes.
Brilliant. Please give us 5 stars. Please.
Yes. Next episode is one Rachel and I are really excited about. It's definitely not going to be only an hour. We, as you all know, and you've had enough time to watch it, so I don't want to hear any of the spoiling stuff. We gave you some leeway. Kenobi came out, and it was amazing and incredible. And I'm kind of sad that no, you know what? I am going to talk about Leia again because, as we just said, we talked about Wanda because the movie added more to her Gryffindor-ness. This series added so much to Leia's Slytherin. It's crazy.
And I love when you can see it as a kid, like how it manifests in children.
I was thinking that too. Like she's 10, so she's technically just under the age to be sorted, but she's developed enough that they would get her. And
that
it's
kid
so obvious.
Is 10, but she's so small.
She's so tiny.
I was like, that's a fucking 7-year-old, and George was like, I think she's supposed to be 10. That's a tiny ass 7-year-old.
I mean, but Carrie Fisher was small too as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway,
Slytherin packs a big punch.
Anyway, so we are in honor of Kenobi are doing the prequels. So we'll be sorting Kenobi, Anakin, and Padme. And we're very excited to watch those movies. And Rachel
You're all wrong. Everything you think is wrong.
First of all, yes, we will prelude. We've kind of Rachel and I have been yelling about these two characters for a while now and sending each other memes and writing out scenarios that probably only crack us up, but are the funniest fucking thing.
No, there's an entire online culture for the memes. I know we would be a hit over there.
Like the thing I just sent you last night about staring in the space window. And the fucking dialogue that we write to each other. Anyway, so we have a lot to say, and everybody.
Yeah, because you're all wrong. I can't believe you think the things you do.
We're upset with you. We can't believe.
So upset.
Especially if you've been taking our lessons, if you've been listening to this podcast.
You've been coming to my classes.
Dare you?
You take notes. No, it's okay. They are so fucking unhinged. It's all right. I completely forgive you, but you know I have to bully you. It's how I show my love. So tune in for that next week because you will be more bullied. And so will they.
Don't take the houses that we've applied the word unhinged to and be like, today and be like, oh, I've got it. Like, no, you're
you don't get it.
They're unhinged in a completely different way
than
like we've been talking about before today. They're
weirdos, and we have to talk about
They're crazy. They've dedicated their lives to chasing each other, to kill each other, and then not kill each other. And this is their definition of best friendship. Like, I have nothing else to say to you people. We're going to talk about them.
I'm sure you could get, when we also are going to talk about Padme because Padme needs to be discussed. She deserves it. She's earned that goddamn right.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm going to talk about Leia more too, because I will say right now that this series actually made me madder about how Leia is treated in the original trilogy, because for some reason we were focused on Luke, and this series gave me no reason to believe that's what should have been happening. So
I have no idea why Luke is the focus of anything. He's just a drama queen bitch.
Not until the last 3 movies.
But he's so funny in the sequels.
Hilarious.
So funny. I know everyone hates how like Luke was treated as characterization, but for me, looking at it from a lens of like perfect. He's such a Gryffindor, that's exactly what would happen.
That is how he would act. Like,
such you weirdo behavior.
Caught me almost killing my nephew. I must go.
I can't wait to talk about the sequels.
Robot.
We're going to save all that for the sequels discussion because we have to talk about
We're not even talking about Luke in the sequel. I know. The sequels will be
we will though.
Rake. Oh God, we will never shut up about Kylo. Finn and Poe.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe let's see. Year. Lauren's very attached to her schedule, but I don't know. I'm wondering if I can.
We do have some free episodes this year. I left our 50th episode free.
I'm gonna push for that to be
for the 50th episode.
I'm gonna push for it. Well, do you have a better idea?
I don't know.
We don't get as excited about things as we do about this.
That's true. Why are we talking about this on air? Did you enjoy listening to all that?
Like
We're planning the podcast live. Yeah. Do you like hearing about our lives?
Maybe we'll start doing like 30-minute episodes where we just talk shit.
Let's do more work.
Let's see how you feel about that. Okay. Thank you so much. You know where to find us. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Duh, you got here to listen to this.
Not to find
so
us.
Come talk to us. You guys never talk to us. It makes me really sad.
Interact.
Please
do you exist?
Chat. I know a couple of you do. And I'm grateful for you every day of my life.
All right, Alexis.
Love you to death. All right. Jesus. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. Catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Sort of Brilliant. If our sorting choices inspired any rage or excitement, we'd love to hear from you. We're open to feedback, suggestions for characters to sort, and solid counter-arguments with citations.
Never forget your citations. You can find us hanging out on Twitter and Instagram at SOB_pod or shoot us an email at sortofbrilliant@gmail.com.
And since we're not above begging, please rate and subscribe to Sort of Brilliant on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please share our posts on social media. And if you're a Gryffindor, maybe you'll inspire sorting fights among your own friend group.
The theme music is Hot Shot by Scott Holmes. Can't wait to sort with you again next time. Bye!